Cool. Well, guys, I'm Cody Meyer. Thanks for having me. It's been a couple years since I've been back here, so it feels good to be back. I'm from Northern California. Tell you a little bit about myself. I fish the FLW Tour. I've been on that for 4 years, and I am a finesse fishing junkie. Love to do it. So you guys ask plenty of questions. I'll answer anything you want. First thing I want to talk to you guys about, this is something that I finally started doing. How many people here use the braided line to a fluorocarbon? For spinning rods, anything? Quite a few guys. Well, forever I used fluorocarbon. I would not go to braid. You know, I just straight fluorocarbon. And in the end, I lost a lot of fish. You know, you don't have the hook set. You're not going to hook as many fish. You don't have the sensitivity. Plus, it's going to be a lot cheaper for you guys. You know, so you can put some Power Pro on there, some 10-pound Tesla on a spinning rod, or works great for a bait caster too. That line's going to be on there all year. It's not going to need to be replaced. And then you can afford, some of the sun lines or the Seagars, the top shot, and you can get a spool 6-pound test, 8-pound test. It's going to last you all year. So, when I first started, I did the uni to uni knot, and I lost a lot of fish. I would snag a rock and pull, the knot would break, and then you have to retie in the water. There's a lot of benefits to that knot. It's easy to tie very quick, but there's a ton of disadvantages. And I personally like the Albright knot. I tied the double Albright, but there's two types. There's an Albright and there's a double. And what this knot's going to do is it's going to take the fluorocarbon and it's going to get hidden inside the braid. So when you're casting and that line is going through the guides of your rod, it's the braid that's going to be hitting the guides, not the fluorocarbon. So it's going to be twice as strong. For me, I'm a light line guy, like I say. I'll tie up 6-pound, 8-pound, throw it out there all day, and it's you don't have to retie. I mean, unless something happens. And most of the time, you only have to retie one time. Like the night before a tournament. And I'll show you guys. Very easy to do. Got some rope here to show you. Anyway, so the knot, like I was saying, the double Albright knot, the fluorocarbon is going to be hidden inside the knot. It's going to be super strong, and with a little practice, very easy to tie. So I'm going to show you guys real quick. This is going to be your fluorocarbon. This is going to be your braid. Now, what I generally like to do is wrap it 8 times and then come back 8 times, and that's going to be the double Albright knot. I can't wrap it with the rope. It's a little too tough, but basic idea. You're going to take your fluorocarbon, you're going to make a loop, okay? You're going to always start with the braid going through the top. So you're going to come down from the top, you're going to pull a bunch of slack, you're going to hold that and make sure it doesn't spin, because this is very important to have the knot stay strong. You're going to go from the top to the bottom, you're going to wrap it 8 times. I'm only going to do 3, so it's easier to manage. 8 times, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then turn around and come back 8 times back upon itself. So now you're going to double this thing up. And then you're going to go, like I said, you're holding this from the top. You're going to go from the bottom. You're going to wet it and out. And that is it. You're going to be super strong. You're not going to break off. You're going to hook more fish. You're going to land more fish. It's going to be a lot stronger. So next thing I want to talk about is, Northern California, Southern California, from fall to winter, what you're going to be doing. I am in love with big swim baits. I throw giant swim baits. I love the flip. I love the frog. I love to do it all. I don't have some of those 18-inch swim baits you guys see out there, but I'm going to talk to you guys about what you have to do to get bit when bites are really hard to come by. When the fish are out suspended. What are you going to do to catch some of these fish? And for years I've heard, you can't catch suspended fish. They go out there and they're impossible to catch. And I have found that you can catch these fish. And when you do, they're generally bigger fish. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get out there on the water, turn on the Lowrance fish finder, is going to go out there and find them. Now, once I found them, they're going to be suspended for a reason. Whether it's pressure from fishermen, there's a front that just came in. Once you find the fish, though, generally that's going to be the key to the lake. If there's suspended fish down 25 feet, most of the time, unless there's a thermocline change, they're going to be like that all the way around the lake. So the ways I'm gonna fish for these fish is very simple. A couple things. A drop shot. It works great. And what you can do, you just rig up a drop shot. My general drop shot rig for suspended fish is going to be on a 7-foot rod to a 7'2" rod, a medium light to a medium, You know, nothing really stiff. I want a pretty parabolic rod. You know, I like these Shimano Crucials and Kamaras. I'm going to tie, you know, the braid to the fluorocarbon leader. And real quick, once you're tying this braid, I generally like a 14, 15-foot leader. So tie it, you know, cut off the tagged end, reel it up to the spool, go around one time in the spool, and that's it. That's good. You're going to be good for the rest of the day. So now the knot I'm going to tie in this drop shot is a Palomar knot. And that is very important because once you tie the knot, you can, you know, tie the Palomar, take this line, this is kind of going to be your leader, and put it back through the eye. That's going to hide the knot inside the hook. And so, you know, when you catch those fish, the teeth aren't going to be, you know, scratching the side of the line. You're going to catch more fish. So suspended drop shot fishing, I'm going to generally use a pretty small bait. You know, a 3 to 4 inch bait. My favorite bait, number one all times, is crosstail shad. This thing works everywhere. It is a killer bait. Now, what a lot of people don't know with this crosstail is actually made to be hooked upside down. A lot of people are going to hook it, you know, with a flat side on the bottom. And what that's going to do, flat side on the bottom, when you're dropping down on fish, casting out, you're going to get a lot more line twist. And, you know, that's a big thing with fishing with spinning rod tackle. So you're going to hook it upside down, and that's going to give the bait a true action it needs to have. You know, when you pull this thing through the water, the tail, it's going to act like a rudder, and it's actually going to kick a little bit more. So let's say I got this set up, got the crosstail shad on a drop shot. You know, I got a 3/16 ounce weight, and now I look down on the graph and I see a big fish on the, you know, on my Lowrance fish finder. It's down at 25 feet. I'm going to actually drop this thing down, and somewhere on everybody's boat, on every puck, there's a spot where you can actually watch your line go down. You know, so it's going to be to the left or right on the troll motor. Once you find that spot, you're going to drop down, and you're going to actually follow this bait and this weight down with the fish. It's video game fishing. It's really, really cool. You're going to see your line go down, and you're going to see the fish come up and sit there. Now, what you're going to want to do, and people ask me all the time, why is that, you know, the way it is? But it's just, it is. When, you know, your fish finders are clean and clear, you're going to drop down, you're going to see the bait and the weight. And in my experience, if you put this you know, bait right in the fish's face, they're not going to bite it. But if you put the weight on the fish, some reason they're going to come up and they're going to grab it. And I've done it for hours and experimented with everything. And that is one of the key, whether you're fishing for largemouth, spotted bass, smallmouth, it works across the country. You're going to want to put the weight right at the fish, and the fish are going to come up and grab it. So that's one of the ways you're going to catch some of those suspended fish. Another way, you know, let's say you find a big wad of bait, and, you know, the fish are pretty finicky. They're not really coming up and committing to the thing, and you're dropping on them, you're not catching them. I like to back off a little bit, and I call this swimming a drop shot. You know, you want to, again, 1/8 ounce to a 3/16 ounce weight, nothing super heavy. Same setup with the rod, and I'm going to make a really long cast, you know, where I found the fish, maybe off a point. You know, they could be pre-spawn, they could be, you know, not biting. And count it down, say if it's 20 feet, I'm going to count down 10 seconds. I'm going to click the bail, and I'm going to let this bait pendulum swing throughout the water column. So this thing is going to be extremely natural. It's going to come across the water column. You know, and you can imagine if you were just to cast out there, hold a tight line, it's going to swing through the water column. And that is a way that you're going to catch a lot of fish. And, you know, that has worked, again, across the country, largemouth. You know, the time I got to fish at Diamond Valley the one time, caught some really big fish. So that works down here too. So that's a couple of the ways, you know, I mean, with the drop shot. That's the number one deadly technique for suspended bass.